What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Make Money and Have Fun show. This one is big number 14, but really, I think I'm actually up to like 20 or 22 episodes. I just got so thrown off with the Saturdays and the Thursdays and all kinds of cool people coming on here. So, as you've seen in the past, we've had entrepreneurs on here, we've had investors, we've had authors, we've had coaches, we've had consultants, we've had speakers, all kinds of cool people. Honestly, I think today I might have the coolest person yet. I met this person back in the beginning of 2020, and when I saw him at this event, my mind was literally and figuratively blown in every way you can possibly imagine. But before we get into that, I want to give you some of the updates that we got going on here. Remember, at any time throughout today's talk or chat, if you want to ask a question, you can always just ask it right in the comments. If you're watching us live on Facebook, on YouTube, wherever you're at, give us some thumbs up, give us some hearts, let us know you're here, show us the love, let us know you're supporting us. And like I said, if you have any questions for myself or for today's guest, you can ask your questions right down in the comments. And then here's the really cool thing, check this out. I can actually bring your question right up on screen and we can ask it live to our guest while we're here. So make sure you like this, share it around, get everybody knowing about this because this is cool stuff going on. I appreciate whoever just sent in the heart. Thank you so much for that. Now, on that note, let's jump into this show.
My motto in life is make money and have fun. I'm on a mission to show everyone how to make money, yeah, and have fun. I'm all about making money and having fun.
I love putting that up. You guys can't see, but I have a little camera down below of my guest, and he's just sitting there rocking out the whole time, and we're both dancing in the background. I love it. Let me tell you about today's guest. So today I'm interviewing Mr. Mark Yuzuik. Mark was raised in a family where love was in abundance, but money was not. He witnessed his parents struggle through many hard times and swore to himself he would find a way to become wealthy so he could care for his family. As Mark grew up, his thirst for creating wealth was only exceeded by his passion for helping others. Today, Mark's a self-made multimillionaire who's touched the lives of people everywhere he goes. He gives credit tips for his success, he gives credit for his success. He also gives credit tips. We'll talk about that later. But he gives credit for his success to his willingness to always strive for more. Mark surrounds himself with the types of people that are willing to hold him accountable to the standards he needs to live by in order to maximize his talents, which is why he's on today's show, because I need to hold him accountable. Mark Yuzuik is the true picture of what is possible when someone truly commits themselves to something more than where they currently are. Mark's an avid student, and Mark has found his coaches to be one of the most vital components to achieving his dreams. Mark teaches his students that simply having the knowledge is not enough. You must consistently take the actions necessary as well, and a coach can be one of the best investments you'll ever make in helping you to make your dreams a reality. Mark conducts multi-day seminars along with his partners in the areas of real estate investing, personal growth, and my personal favorite, hypnosis, which is what we're going to be talking about a lot today. While many speakers teach these same types of programs, it is Mark's love of people and his passion for making a difference that will shine through in his words and in his presence on stage. And on top of all of that, Mark's a pretty funny dude as well. So let's bring Mark Yuzuik to the stage. Mark Yuzuik, everybody!
Oh my God, Fred! I want to get to meet this Mark guy. It sounds pretty cool,
right? I'll bet he has something pretty good to say.
I tell you, I'm listening to this and I'm thinking, I'm with my sister-in-law. I'm like, Yogi, we should get to know this guy. He sounds really nice,
right? I do that when I'm about to go on stage. They're like, so how you feeling? I'm like, I don't know. I think I'm going to have something good to say, hopefully.
Well, you never know, right?
Yeah,
say
right?
what comes out and see what happens, right?
I'm looking forward to what I have to say today.
Yeah, it's so good to see you again. I think we haven't seen you since January, and other than virtually through this, this is like virtual dating. I don't know how people are going to be able to get back to virtual, other than virtual dating. How are they going to do it?
Yeah,
crazy.
It's been a weird state of affairs. It was funny. I met you at another seminar that we went to, which
yes,
I think, if I remember correctly, and also, by the way, Shadow's saying that she can't wait to hear what you have to say either. So everybody's waiting. We'll get into We'll get into it. Don't worry. But I met you at an event that I don't even think you knew you were going to be at either, which was the funniest part.
No, it was like a couple days, and Dr. Obama's like, dude, you want to be here? I'm like, me and my wife jumped in a plane. We went there right at Philly. I still remember sitting there. It was just like, we have been inseparable since then. And I feel like I've known him for years. And I just met him in, I think it was November. We took a flight out to Nassau. Yeah. And it's just like, we just clicked like, no, it was December. No, it was January. We actually met in January because I remember Robert Riopel hooked me up and he goes, dude, you need to know this guy. Here's what you need to do. Book this flight. Trust me. I'm like, what am I booking? He goes, trust me. Had no clue what it was. All I knew was we're going to Nassau. I go, what are we going there for? He goes, just get on the plane. Trust me. I'm thinking, okay. And that's how this whole thing started.
Yeah, I love that.
I think some of the greatest relationships, Fred, are created like that. Is because you don't plan them. If you allow yourself and set yourself up to be successful, there are always doors opening up for us. It's whether we choose to go through them or not.
Absolutely.
And people, I never have the opportunity. Everybody has the opportunity. Just be there and be welcoming. Welcome the opportunity into it, That's part of the whole mindset, So, yeah, that's how it started. Fasana! She was on the trip. She was on the plane with us. That is so cool. She was actually the one I met on the plane, too. I met Danny Fasana. It was so cool. What a great trip.
Absolutely. I mean, it's so fun for me doing this show because I feel like I'm just sitting in a room full of friends. You know what I mean? It's like it's almost like we're sitting in the living room together, just drinking a cup of coffee. Although I don't drink coffee, so whatever. Yeah, there you go. Whatever we drink, I'm drinking. I got water.
If I drink coffee, I get really wired up, and if I get wired up, I do these Facebook lives, and they're like, and we'll get Fred, we'll get comments like, "How many cups of coffee has Mark drank today?" And I just go off and crazy things. So my wife's like, don't get him on coffee. And then some people will say, hey, give him some coffee and tell him to do a Facebook Live.
I think you're one of those people that definitely doesn't need any more energy. You're just like me. If I drank coffee, I'd be like hanging from the ceiling and just like swinging around and doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
Well, that sounds exciting.
I got to say, this has been the most energetic start to this show I've ever had. Oh man. Anyway, to finish up our story, I had a whole slew of seminars and events lined up, one being yours that I was going to go to in 2020. And as we all know, kaput, right? Everything shut down and we were forced to just sit inside and kind of adjust and adapt to everything that was going on. And it's so cool being back here again now, January 2021, a year later.
Yes.
Sit down with you, just talking about the state of affairs, life, and hopefully a little bit of hypnosis in there.
Oh my God! All life is hypnosis, Fred. You know that. You think that when COVID happened, where was people's minds? Did they give up or step up? And I had, as an entertainer, we book for months and years in advance. So we had an entire session. We were back on the road with Robert Kiyosaki. We had Dubai, Singapore, India, the Philippines, and a full schedule. And all of a sudden, and we were offered the NAC with Tony Robbins on March 14th. We were offered NAC. I'm like, finally, I knew I was going to get it. I put it out there. I knew it. See, this law of attraction thing really does work. I told you all that. I'm dancing around. And then March 7th, he goes, law of attraction just got, whoop. Hey, I'm still going to get on there. It's just when it gets to being live again,
Yeah.
So you've got to reinvent yourself. People, they got the mindset. Not that fear doesn't come into play, Fred. Everybody had that state where it's like, what am I going to do? Everything's taken away. You don't need to live there. What you do is you say, is this positive or negative? What can I learn from this? How do I grow? There's always a need in every situation. So you've got to learn to adjust. Now you think about this. I've been wanting to build my list up. I want to do all these things. Now I have the opportunity because guess what? I've got the time. I've got more people at home, more people to watch me. I can reach out to more people. So you've got to think of all the things you can do. I got it into a new book now. I'm on the cover with Jim Britt, Kevin Arrington, Tony Robbins, and me on the cover. These are opportunities that would have not have happened if it wasn't for COVID. So you think about it was it really the best thing that could have happened? Or the worst thing that could have happened, and whatever you decide, that's the road you're going to go down. Not that it's a great thing. Nobody wants this pandemic to happen. But what can we learn and who can we help? And this is where you really come together. How can you really help somebody and be what you really are? Are you a contributor? Or are you a taker? And this is where our true colors come out, you know? It's funny. I was with my brother-in-law and sister-in-law last night, and we were talking about, you know, opportunities that come. And
Shadow wants to know how she can get only 5% of your energy. He's got plenty to go around. That might be a new business model for you, Mark, selling your energy.
Sell energy.
Yeah, why not?
5% energy. Here's a website to get 5% energy.
5%energy.com.
That's literally why they don't let me drink coffee.
Oh, geez.
I'm bouncing all over the place, you know.
Yeah, what are we talking about again?
It was whatever it was good.
Something
I don't
like
even know what we're talking about.
I don't know. Is anybody recording this? What's going on?
So we're having dinner, and my sister-in-law gets a call. Something about trailers come up. My brother calls me up, and he goes, "Hey, dude, I got an opportunity to buy some cargo trailers." I'm like, "Good, go buy them." He goes, "No, I can get them for this price. We can sell them for this. There's a big market for it." And I said, "All right, here's the deal. I've got like 6 or 7 trailers, little cargo trailers. Sell this one. If you can get $1,000 for it, I'll talk to you." He sells it for $2,150. I'm like, "What? Oh my God." So I said, "Here's another one." I said, "I bought it for $700. Sell it." He sells it for $1,800. And then he shows me some things. Lo and behold, we went through some growing spurts and all this. And we've been in business for a few months now. The first 3 months were all learning curves. Well, let me explain to you what a learning curve is. A learning curve means you put up money and you learn from all your mistakes of what not to do. That's called a learning curve. You get all the capital you need for the whole year. That's a learning curve. And I was telling my brother, I go, "Heath, we got it. We don't know what we don't know. Let's figure this out." So lo and behold, it turned around, and now we're buying about 100 trailers a month, and we can't keep them in stock. And we're getting the whole West Coast. That was an opportunity that came along only because you're open to it. When your mindset says, "You know what, I'm in survival and I'm in growth," sometimes it could be either one, survival or inspiration for growth or desperation to get out of where you are. It doesn't matter what gets you to take the action, as long as you decide, don't sit there and listen to people broker than you and have no motivation. Don't fit in, stand out. That's how you become successful. Now, did I lose a lot of money on tour? I took about a $400,000 hit because of my schedule. However, because of that, my opportunity says now I can build businesses and the learning curve where I can build more wealth long term. So don't look at what you don't have, look at what you do have out there, and that's a whole different thing. You know, it's like we couldn't do the live events. We're doing virtual events now. So we get to do virtual events, which there's a big difference. I mean, you've seen me on stage live.
Sure.
I've got a lot of energy, and I do this for 3 days. We really have we really have a good event because we work so hard on it, and I prepare for a long time in advance before I get to that event. I feel that, not me, we, all of us, when you're giving to someone, whether that's a business, on stage, whatever that is, you owe them everything you've got. And if you go there with the intention of what's in it for me instead of how you can serve, then you're not going to last long in the business and you'll never grow. You've got to say, you know what, do the extra thing, and that's what's going to get you where you are. Our trailers, Fred, this is so crazy. Our trailers, we put all the extra little things in there, D-rings, extra high, extra, for no reason other than we know people will need it. And when they sit there and they look at somebody else's and ours are 20% cheaper. They're better. And you know what? We only sell top quality stuff. And here's where I learned that from, Fred. I'm in business. I do a lot of real estate. And my real estate business partner, Zip, I'll call him Zip, he made $86 million in 3 years. Prior to that, he went broke, and then he made it. And I always asked him, I go, how is it that you're always successful in real estate? He goes, I'm not always successful in certain deals. I'm always successful in life. And I said, what is it, Mike? What is it? He said, you have to remember one thing, Mark. And I remember when I was in the 80s or 90s, he told me, it was the 80s, he told me this. He said, no matter what, you have to always over deliver. Always give people more than they expect, and they will notice those little things. Even if they don't see them, they'll feel them, they'll notice them, and that's how you do it. When we sell a trailer, I get a picture, a video, and everything. And they go, why are you doing this? I said, because I'm not selling you a trailer. I'm creating a relationship. Right after that, we send them an email and a text message thanking them. 90 days later, we thank them again. Is there anything we could serve you? If you need a bigger one, trade it in. We'll give you full value and trade up. That's why our business is being successful, is you have to service people, period. And somebody says, well, I don't have anything to service. You have you. Maybe it's you that gets the service. Maybe it's something you could do different that you haven't done to make a difference in somebody's life. It's not how much money you have. It's not any of that. Forget about all that. How do you feel and how are you fulfilled? And that's what it's about. That's what total transformation is about. People go there because I want to make more money. No, you don't. You want to be more fulfilled. But you have to trick them. You have to say, I can show you how to do that. We get them there, and by the end, they're like, wow, I didn't know that. It's never about the money. It's always about the fulfillment and the service.
Yes. Yes. I love it. And I always tell this story. That's the reason why I developed this brand and this show called Make Money and Have Fun. Because I realized that too. You know, as you and I both know, we both started out in real estate investing.
Yeah.
And real estate investing is steeped in financial literacy, right? You learn a lot about how money works, how investing works, about arbitrage, about all these different things in there. And I realized one day that the money's not enough if you're not also having fun on the back end of it. Because we all know people who are making a shit ton of money, but are completely miserable. They don't have any fulfillment at all. And so this is the idea of kind of bridging that gap between both the money and the fun.
Yeah. And the thing is, truthfully, with money, you can help more people out, obviously. And it doesn't hurt. I don't like being broke. I don't like that feeling because I feel like I'm not able to serve my family, my wife. And as a man, it's our job to provide, do whatever it takes. I don't have a right to sit on my ass and make excuses and complain. I don't have that right. That's not allowed in my brain. And, you know, I know a lot of people that they go, well, it's not my fault. The hell it isn't. You know, it's your responsibility.
Yeah.
You know what? Man, somebody needs a good spanking out there, you know, and maybe they need it, you know. And when you think about how you're going to serve, you know, my wife could care less about money. She's Mexican from Mexico, and since she was 7 to 17 years old, she used to work in the strawberry fields, picking strawberries and all that. She had to pay her own way through her own school and all that. And because of that, she's created a great value of, you know, what she has, she appreciates. What matters to her is that we sit down at night and we have dinner together, just me and her. And she thinks we've got a big family because she cooks for like a lot of people, you know. But it's good because, you know, my little tummy's like a chicken cemetery, so it's kind of good, you know. But I don't want to hurt her feelings, not eat everything, so I just eat it all for her, you know. And that's what life's about for her, you know. And we live in a double wide or a bigger, it doesn't matter. She'll always be there, and it's the value. And I think that's a part of the culture she comes from, you know. Sure. She truly is like that, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always tell people the definition of money in my mind is that money is just a byproduct of value creation.
Yeah.
And so the more value that we create for ourselves and for others, the more money comes to us. It's just
and I want people to make as much as they can. I want you to realize that you have a right to do that, and you have a right to live a lifestyle. There's nothing wrong with that. And if somebody makes you feel guilty because of that, that's their issue. Don't buy into their freaking belief because they don't want to step up. You know what? Pass them. A race isn't about going behind. It's about moving forward and pulling people with you. You know what? Leave them behind. Maybe it's time for people to get divorced. You know how many people I got a divorce from this year that were supposedly friends? Divorcing them means they got out of my phone, and I said, when I'm around them, I don't feel better when I leave them than when I started with them. It's time for a divorce. And I've taken some people out of my life that I've known for a long time. And I was like, why don't you just tell them? I go, because I don't need to do that.
Yep.
What I need to do is know if I'm not serving myself, number one, I can't serve somebody else. So who do you need to divorce out there? Who do you need to be engaged with? Because some people are married to the wrong person and they're not engaged to the right person for them to grow. And I don't mean physically. I mean mentally, so you attract the people in your life. You can't attract somebody in your life if you got too many bad people in there because there ain't no room. So clean out your room, clean out your head, and get the right people. Don't go behind, be a leader, you know? And it's a tough thing to do sometimes because we all want to be liked, but why do we need to be used? Let's be liked and be useful instead of used up. Amen. Shout. Hallelujah, girl.
All right. Well, that was our 20-minute intro to today's show. So let's get into the actual show.
All right. When do we start?
So, Mark, I always start off asking my guests the same question, typically, except for today. And
we break the mold, Fred.
Yeah, you have to. You know, this show evolves, it increases, and honestly, this was the best decision. This show was the best decision I made in 2020 was starting this because it is just so much fun doing this. But Mark, I want to know, and all of our attendees want to know, what is your story?
Well, there's a lot of stories.
Give me a short one.
Yogi says, how much time you got? Here's the deal. You know what? There's 5 of us in our family. It's my mom and dad, and there's 5, you know, older brother, me, younger brother, younger sister. My older brother had since moved on. He's passed on. And so it's, you know, me and my older brother, younger sister. And I'm in business with my younger brother right now. And we didn't grow up, obviously, with a lot of money, but I grew up wanting one thing. I wanted to have more success than possibly my family did. The reason why is I always wanted to make sure I could be there and take care of people. And thank God, I know my mom said one thing. She goes, boy, I wish I had more money so I can give you money every month. And I said, Mother, thank God you didn't, because why would you take that from me? I said, when I get to give you money, how does that make you feel? She goes, well, I feel good, but I feel bad. I says, how do you think it makes me feel knowing I get to do that for you? I said, please don't ever be successful so I can always be there for you, because you've taken care of me. Now I get to take care of you. And there's no greater honor than that. And she's kept true to her word. She has not been successful. She's allowed me to continue to help her. And I've got one of the greatest moms that is just full of love, you know. And we don't know how long people are going to be here for that, you know. And I remember going through school. I left home at 12 years old, went out of state to school, very abusive school. Thank God, because it wasn't the school's fault. It was coming from higher. Anyways, it was a cult I was in until 12th grade. And they finally just said, I'm not going to succeed. I'm not going to give you a diploma. You're not going to graduate. And so I says, I'm done. I'm out of here. And they were right. I did not graduate. However, you know what I did, Fred? I found where they had the diplomas and I stole the diploma. So I got a high school diploma. Oh, baby! Who's your daddy now, baby? But you know what it did? It taught me, if they took my mind from, here's how life works. You can either be a victim of a previous event or you can change the story. The one thing you're in control of is your mind. And if you allow somebody else to take your mind, shame on you. And the only reason people have pain is because they haven't got the lesson. You know what? I am so grateful for the things I had to go through, not at the time, but now. And because of that, now what do I do in life? I give people their mind back. Wow. If I hadn't gone through that, I would be where? Having a job? It wouldn't be the same. So now I get to serve people the rest of my life. And when I turned 50, that was a turning point where I said, you know what? I've done over 10,000 hypnosis shows all over the world. I've toured with everybody you can imagine. Every country rock. I mean, I've done it all. I just got off tour with Robert Kiyosaki. I've been very fortunate and very lucky to see the entire world and get paid to do it. And the one thing that fulfills me more than anything else, we were just talking about this today. You know, I haven't done a show in about a year. And Yogi, I call her Yogi. It's funny. Her name is Yolanda, and my wife's name is Yolanda. There's only 2 Yolandas I know in this world, and they're both in my life forever.
The only 2 Yolandas I know.
I only need 2. Why get more? Hey, when you got the best, stop right there. Move on.
There it is.
Start with a why, because why do you need more Yolandas? You just don't. Got 2 whys right there. Everybody says, you got to know your why. I got my why, Yolanda, and I got my wife's why, Yolanda. It's perfect. I got 2 whys now.
And you have your why in Yuzuik as well.
Yuzuik, there you go. I forgot about it. My last name is Yuzuik. Woo! Give me some coffee. Hurry, give me some coffee.
Oh man.
I'm in Houston, Texas right now because I'm learning about real estate deals. I'm doing more real estate with the gentleman flying in from Marcus Jacober from Puerto Rico. He's flying in. I'm meeting him in a few hours. Then we're going to go to Arkansas. I was like, Arkansas? And then I found out it's cold. It's really cold. I just got back from Walmart and bought long underwear because I had no idea. I'm from Vegas where it's warm. I'm like, give me the long underwear. It doesn't match. I don't care if it matches. I don't care. The color blue and cold on me does not work. I like warm, So we're actually learning more real estate deals, And I've done a lot of real estate.
So Mark, I have to tell you this real quick. So I run a mastermind as well, and I'm certified by the Mastermind Association. One thing that they do that Greg Reed taught me when he certified me is they use these paddles, and this paddle right here, this train, this means that you're going down a crazy train, and we need to bring you back to center.
I know Greg. I've done his shows for a long.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about maybe I should mail this to you. Just
you need to send it. I need to use it as a mouse pad.
You can staple this to your forehead. So.
We were starting at the Y's. Now we're getting back to the A's. The alphabet can be all over the place. That's how you.
I don't even remember what the question was at this point.
Tell me your story. You asked for my story.
And we got up to real estate investing. So talk to us a little bit about real estate investing. How did that get started for you? What did that grow into? What does that look like? Talk to us.
Bought my first house in 1984.
Okay, 10 years before I was born. I just like to put that out there.
God. Well, I was very, very, very young.
Okay. I believe you.
About 9 houses in 1985. About 36 houses in 1986. Then I started buying 78 houses a year. I got into real estate because when I left that school, they told me that I would never succeed. I'd be a failure in life. I can't even pass high school. What makes me want to make it in the real world? And we know what it did? It really pissed me off. And some people either buy into that and they go, oh, I'm a loser, I'll never make it. Or you say, you know what? You go for it. And that's what I did. I was going to prove them wrong. But what's weird is, you still, even though I was successful, I wasn't as successful as I needed to be because I would sabotage in ways like, you know what, I'm going to go buy a new Porsche. I had a 944 turbo Porsche, freaking fast, red, stupid. I mean, it was very dangerous for me. I'm not really the smartest guy when it comes to danger. I push the limits, I had a motorhome. And what started my whole, and I was in real estate. I mean, I was doing so many deals, I've done several thousand deals. I went to a fair and I saw a hypnotist there, and my brother convinced me to go. And I thought, there's no way this is real. You're not going to believe that. And I saw different people there. There you go, Shadow. See, all high school dropouts are successful because we don't believe we can't be. And I admire people that say education is not what you know. It's experience and what you do. And that's how you become successful. They don't teach you how to make money in school. They teach you how to get a job, and COVID teaches you how to take it away from you. You want to be successful, take control of your life. Don't rely on somebody or something else. You are responsible, not the company that went out of business. You are. And I remember seeing, the hypnosis show, and I thought, this is no way real. Went back the next day, brought my cousin, different people. Long story short, my cousin got in the show. And I said, I don't know what it's going to take. That's my next move. And I asked Terry, that was back in 1988. And I said, where'd you learn this stuff? And he told me, and I said, can anybody learn it? He goes, yeah. I said, would you teach me? He goes, sure. I said, all right. How much? He goes, 30 grand a month. I says, all right. All I cared about is I just wanted to learn how to do it. So I was going to make enough money in real estate, retire, and just do that for fun. That's all I wanted. It was never a career decision. It was only done for fun. And I remember that I have a friend, Paul Simon, who, not the singer, but the infomercial one. And he was one of the first infomercials out there. He had all these infomercials, the steam iron, all this stuff. And I said, hey, Paul, would you be interested in doing an infomercial with a hypnotist? He goes, well, son, sure I would. And I said, really? I said, would you give me 5% if I put the deal together? He goes, absolutely. So I remember getting a hold of Terry Stokes. And I said, Terry, would you be interested in doing an infomercial? He goes, well, sure. I said, what if I got somebody to fund the whole thing? Would you give me 5%? He goes, well, hell yeah, I would. See, what I'm doing is I'm getting a way to pay the 30,000. You never think about how much something costs. An investor goes, what is the cost? How do I make it work? Because everyone says, I can't do these deals. You know what? We just put a $10.2 million deal together. I got paid. They're supposed to give me 100 grand. They gave me 35,000 up front and 10% of the deal. So don't tell me it can't be done. If it can't be done, call me and I'll show you how to do it. And then you'll learn from your mistake on, oh, I should have done it. Because the only thing stopping you is your belief. And that's it. It's not the opportunity. But convince somebody of that, well, it's the hardest thing to do because they listen to other people. I'm going to listen to losers, divorce them. So I remember that driving down the road and Paul went and saw him. I had no idea to this day, Fred, how much money he made. And I remember it was in Sierra Vista, Arizona, and he was doing a college show. He did a college show and got done, and we were driving to another college the same day. And I said, Paul, what do you think he makes? And I asked another hypnotist, a therapist, what he makes. He doesn't do stage. He goes, I guess he's probably getting, $300 a day. I thought, it's not bad, working every day. He could probably make some money and maybe sell some stuff on the side. And I'm in the motorhome at Terry, and you never heard the story, have you, Yogi? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I remember driving, and I said, Terry, not to intrude on your business, but like that college show, do they pay you for that? He goes, well, sure they do. I go, oh, well, that's good. I go, well, how much did you make on that? Because you got another one you're doing, right? He goes, yeah, I'm going to do another one. I said, well, how much did you make? He goes, well, I get $3,500. I said, oh, $3,500 for a week? He goes, huh? I said, how much did you make? No, just for that show the one we just came from. He goes, $3,500. I said, you just made for 1 hour $3,500. And you're going to another show to make $3,500. You're telling me you make $7,000 today? He goes, yeah, but I got to pay my agent 20%. I'm like, I don't give a shit what you got to pay the son of a gun, man. You just made $7,000. That moment changed my life from a passion of what I wanted to do to a passion and how I can turn it into a business.
Yep.
That was the turning point. Paul bought the back end of his business, the tape business where he sold cassettes and all that. He said he doesn't know how to sell. Paul was a salesman. Under one condition, I got to go on the road and I ran his back business and he trained me. Here, everybody won. Terry got his infomercial. Paul bought a business. Terry made more money on his back end than he ever made, and I got trained. And that was the best thing I've ever done in my life. And I've done over 10,000 shows. And all I thought was, if I could be as good as Terry, so I'd be half as good, I would be so happy, And Terry, to me, is still the best hypnotist out there. And I just do the best show I can possibly. I've done a lot of shows out there. And then I started getting into speaking. Marshall Silver came up to me and goes, how come you don't speak? And I was doing a show in San Diego. See, everybody has waking up moments in life. And I remember it was at the Civic Theater. We had 2,200 people there, and they all paid $20 to be there. It's not a bad gig. And I said, he goes, how much do you make off of each person on the back end? Because he was speaking. And I said, I try to get $2 a head, product sales. And he goes, oh, that's not bad. I says, how much do you make? He goes, I make $800 a head. I said, what? He goes, I make $800 a head when I speak. I said, there's no freaking way. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking, what am I doing that I need to be doing different? The difference is when you can influence somebody's life through entertainment, you can sell them a cassette, a video, a CD, a download, whatever that is. There is a limit to that. And I understand that, you're at a different market. When you're making a change in somebody's life for the rest of their life and you're influence them through seminars, coaching, mentoring, things of that nature, it brings a higher value. And if you don't charge a higher value, they won't honor it. They won't work themselves. And I said, you know what? Let me come look. He goes, why don't you be a speaker? I go, I've never spoken. He goes, you never did a hypnosis show before you did the first one anyway. So what's the difference? And I thought, frick, he got me out of my own stuff that time. He's right. So I remember it was February 14th, Orlando, Florida. And I remember to the moment I saw this. It was 2004. I saw Marshall walk into a Russ Whitney program, about 1,500 people there. And you could tell the way he walked just with that confidence, And say what you want about Marshall, like him, hate him. The guy made a difference in my life, and I'm still friends to this day with him. And everybody is liked and disliked by certain people. You know what? Learn from somebody and take that and apply it in your own life. You don't have to like somebody to make a difference. You don't have to love somebody, and that will make a difference. It's what you apply in your life. And I still remember, I can't get this out of my mind, and I never want to. When he started speaking, I saw him transform that audience like no other speaker I've ever seen in my life. And I watched him pull out $450,000 in 90 minutes. And obviously this is split 50-50. He made $250,000 in front of me. And he walks off the stage and he goes, you think you could do that? I am shaken with excitement saying, think? No, I don't think I can. I know I will. I absolutely know I will. And he's always had my back. He's always been there no matter what, you know? And I said, I'm going to do everything I can. I learned and studied and studied. And remember the talk we had in the beginning, how you don't know what you don't, how we had some experiences in the trailer business. I had some experiences in the speaking business. I made a lot of decisions. You talk about that freight train going down the wrong track. They used to say, you know what? You're on that train. You need to get off that track. But you know what? When you bomb in front of people, you learn very quickly that it's not about your ego. It's about serving. And I just really dove in more. I dove in more into understanding therapy, interventions, behaviors, patterns, people, what people do, how they do it, how to make a difference, how to take your mind back. I did that more than I did even with hypnosis in doing shows. And I said, you know what? I said, yeah, I sound like I've got a speech problem. And
that means you're talking too much.
I'm talking to it. Sorry, there's something
you're sabotaging my show, Mark. No, I'm just kidding.
I know. And I realized, you know what? I was 50 years old, man. And I'll tell you right now, I said, I'm going to make a difference in people's lives. I've done a lot of shows, but I can remember all the transformations and the hypnosis seminars I've done where I help people. And to this day, anybody who's been to my seminar, we have a lot of people come back. They know one thing. You know what? I really, really put everything I have into it when it comes to whether it's the staging, the lighting. I don't care what it costs. I just care that it makes a difference. And people, you could do it a lot cheaper. I said, you know what? You can do everything cheap in your life, but that's not who we are. We're about serving. And you know what? I'm not selling a seminar, I'm building a relationship. And that's my story.
I love it. I love it. I mean, here's the funniest thing. I don't know if you saw me in the little down camera. I was mesmerized half that time that you were telling that story.
I literally can't see the little box down below. I can only see.
Oh yeah, that's right. You don't
get a haircut for the event. I was so excited I went and got my haircut.
There you go.
You know what else I did? Did you see when when COVID happened, I realized there has to be a shift and a change in life. And if I'm going to talk about shift and changes, I have to make my own. So what I did was I decided I'm going to let my hair and my beard grow out, and I'm going to dye it. So I dyed it all blonde, and I dyed this black and all that. And I did it because, and I didn't see it. I did a Facebook Live, and I was the last one to see it. It was real. And the reason I did it is because we could always make change in life. And I grew a garden. And here's why I grew a garden. It wasn't because I wanted to get all this fruit and all that. It's because every day and every night I'd go out there and I'd water it. And it reminded me, as a metaphor, is you've got to take care of what you're planting, because it will never serve you if you don't constantly remind yourself every day, take care of things in life. And I've got this garden, 3 tomato plants. Now, the garden only gave me 1 tomato. It was the worst tomato I've ever ate in my life. And then I went to Phoenix for some business. I came back and I asked my wife, did you water my plants? Water my plants. She goes, no, it's dead. I said, no, I'm pulling it out of hospice. I re-watered them. I grew them back. I got like 40 tomatoes on there. They're green as can be. I can't eat them all, but they're growing. And it made me think I'm growing in life. I went through some challenging times where it looked like things were going to produce. Learning curve, they weren't producing, but if you keep going, it'll keep growing. And then there'll be a day where everything blossoms. And then you're like, wow, how'd I get here? You forgot about the hard road. If you take the easy way out, your life will be hard. The hard way, your life will be easy. And I still remember Les Brown saying that. And I remember him saying that, and it's stuck in my mind to this day. Wow. And now I'm, I've gotten a couple books out. Never made money on the books. You write books because that's what we do. Authors on stage. Hey, look at this. All right.
Sure. Now
I'm on the cover with Jim Britt, Kevin Harrington, Tony Robbins, and me. And to me, that is something that it comes out in a couple weeks. I am so excited and proud of that, just because I know that it's going to make a difference, and people will now get the message,
So it's so funny hearing you tell this story about riding in the car with Terry, because I had a similar moment in 2020. I always thought of the speaking world backwards. I always thought I need to make a ton of money investing in real estate, and then that'll fund me being on stage. Until I had a conversation with somebody who was helping me with a bestseller campaign on my book, and he actually does major bestseller lists. So he'll do Wall Street Journal, USA Today, that kind of stuff. And I'm like, why would I pay you all of this money to do that? And he goes, well, let's talk about speaking gigs. He said, with these, with these books behind you, with these kind of bestseller lists, you can demand $10,000 a speech. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, credibility.
Like, and so after that moment, I'm like, how do I get on stages? That's been my whole like focus from there, is just kind of flipped it all around. I'm like, real estate's on the back end.
Come speak on my stage when we do our live event. Come speak.
Absolutely.
Be a guest of mine.
Yeah, I'd love to.
See how easy that was? See how I booked you. Boom. See, I should be your agent. I just booked you on my own stage. I'm the only one I know can book you.
Yeah. So here's the other piece. This is for all of our attendees. Okay. People ask me all the time, how do you get these people on your show? How'd you get Les Brown to be on your show, and Dr. Obambone and Mark Yuzuik and all these people? And you ready? Mark already knows, but here's the answer for the audience. I asked them.
That's right.
I reached out and I asked them, and it really is so simple that sometimes we complicate it in our head. I'm like, no, it can't be that simple. Let me whiteboard it out and spend 6 hours figuring it out. But when it really comes down to it, it's just the most amazing thing. Here's another one. Ready? Hey, Mark, I need your help. I have something in my next book, and I need to talk to Robert Kiyosaki about it. Can you get me access to him somehow?
Yeah, that'd be very easy. You know something? Robert and I toured in Singapore, where else? London, Poland, Romania. And when he first met me, Robert does not like hypnotists.
Interesting. Okay.
And I know why, but let's just leave it at that. And I remember saying, we're backstage, and I'm like, we're in London. And he goes, what do you do? Getting everybody to speak. He goes, what do you do? He comes to me, and I says, I'm a hypnotist. And he goes, I don't introduce hypnotists. And he walked off, and I'm thinking, oh, he's cool. He's fun. He was playing around. He wasn't playing. And he came up, and I'm thinking, what did I do? And it wasn't what I did. It was who I was. He thought I was representing. And so I just like, oh, no problem. I don't know what it is, and that's okay. I heard that he doesn't like hypnotists, and I'm okay with that. I'm still going to be me. And I remember doing the show, and all the staff was there, and the owner of the company introduced me. And at the end of the show, I spoke the next day, and then Robert started coming around, and his staff's like, dude, you don't know who Mark is. And he started talking about all these things. And by the next city and all that, now Robert's helping me with my bag, and he goes, hey, can you help me with this? And he totally turned around. And I remember telling him a story. I says, you know what, Robert? I says, here's why people don't make it. Because they don't try hard enough. I said, when I was wanting to get into not hypnosis, but real estate, I didn't have anything. 1984. I used to go to those seminars with Paul Simon and all that. I sold my car to buy a bicycle to ride it to work because I could save $20 a week and have enough money to go to a real estate seminar. Robert Allen, Paul Simon. Now it's funny. I'm friends with him, and Robert Allen Hunter's a fan of mine, And I remember doing that. And I remember Paul Simon said he was going to train me. Well, Paul had hit an infomercial. He was making a lot of money, 60 grand a day back in 83, 84. And so he goes, well, I'm not going to train you. Go to this guy named Randy Huggins. And he goes, Randy's got a course out. So I call Randy, and I'm bugging Randy. Randy's like, no, you got to have my course. My course is how to make money in foreclosures, get rich in foreclosures. And it's $300. In 1984, I didn't have $300, but I had two things. I had a VCR and I had a microwave. And the microwave was financed. Remember when microwaves came out? I had to finance it. VCRs were expensive. He said, well, I'll tell you what, bring over your VCR and I'll trade you out. I said, okay. I packed up that VCR and I got a ride over to his house. He lived about, 5-6 miles away. And I traded him his course. And he said, when you're done listening to it and it's on cassette, give me a call. So I stayed up all night and I listened to every bit of it. I called him the next day. And I said, Randy, I'm ready. He goes, I told you to listen to the whole course. I said, I did. What do you want to know? He said, what are you talking about? You got to listen to all of it. I said, Randy, I did. He goes, Mark, there's 16 cassettes there. I said, and I hit every one of them. And he said, okay, come on over. And I would follow him around. We used to laugh because if he'd walk out, I'd walk out. I want to know everything he did. And he taught me how to do real estate. That's why I bought my first house in 84, 9 and 36. I learned it. If you want to be successful, you do whatever it takes. How many would have given away their VCR? Nobody. How many would have sold their car to ride a bike? See, I've earned the right to be successful. Some people think it's expected. It's not expected. It's what you do. And when people see the effort you put out, then they'll put out effort. I will never invest in anybody if they're not willing to invest in themselves, because they don't believe in themselves. Why should we? Neither would you. Neither would anybody. But when you can stand out and stand up, and you know that nothing's going to stop you. People, that's contagious. People of successful mindsets will gravitate that, and they'll pull you into their circle. One thing about Tony Robbins he talks about is proximity, who you hang around with. One of my best friends is, the guy's worth millions and millions and millions of dollars. And he's not my friend because of that. He's my friend. And because of that, I got him, I literally got him over $80 million in loans from my connection. Well, he doesn't forget that stuff. And I remember one time, this was back in the days where I got into a deal with him. I gave him $150,000. This is where you gotta back up what you say, And one thing I know is successful people always get back on top. It's the way it is. It's not that we're lucky. We have a mindset that says we don't have any other choices. This is who we are. And I told him one day I was going to retire. He goes, nah, you won't retire. You're a deal junkie, dude. I was like, okay. And I remember his bookkeeper, somebody wiped out his bank accounts. And I had a $150,000 investment with him. He got all his investors back the money. And he called me up and he says, would it be okay if I borrowed $50,000 out of the $150,000? And I said, absolutely not. It's not okay. I will give it to you as a gift. You don't owe me a dime. Please let me do one thing. Will you allow me to invest with you again? That's all I ask. He goes, no, it would be a loan. I said, no, I want you to understand this. You owe me nothing. There's nothing you owe me. Please let me invest with you again. All I want is the opportunity to shot. And I remember going to his office, cleaning his office out. And I said, how many people stuck by? He goes, let's say there's me, you, and my wife here. All the rest of it, I was a rat. And I was going to sink like a rat in New York City septic. It was 1 year later. He worked, got back on top. And then 3 years after that, he made $86 million. He cut me a check for $100,000. He goes, hey, thanks for that loan. I go, it wasn't a loan. He goes, and this isn't a loan either. Gave me $100,000 back. And that's the man I got into the deal with, where we bought, it was $10,250,000. It was 369 luxury properties getting ready to go to vertical. 2 went vertical, 22 townhomes, $8 million clubhouse, and all the streets were in. The bank lost it at $45 million. We bought it for $10,250,000. And I put that deal together, and that's why they paid me for the deal and got 10%. Not a bad way to come back. Best $50,000 I ever gave away.
Absolutely. It's so cool hearing this. I'm a huge proponent of not just taking advice from people who are successful, but people who have lost it all and build it all back.
Yeah.
That I think is like a true barometer of success. And I always tell my story, in 2018, obviously it wasn't as big, as many zeros as your story, but in 2018, I was flat broke. I built up my real estate, small empire that I had at the time, and I watched it all crumble down in front of me. And I was actually at a seminar in Las Vegas, so I was probably right near you. And I was literally thinking about, how am I going to afford an Uber to the airport to get myself back home?
God, those are great times.
Yeah, and it's like, for me, I felt like I had two opposing mindsets. A part of me was like, well, I guess I can just lay down in the street here and give up and, hold out a little can and start peddling for money, or I can do whatever it takes to make this work and not come back here again. And I literally calculated, I had $57 in my bank account and to my name, like everywhere. Like there was not a penny between the cushions of my car that I didn't even own at the time. Like, it was $57 and that was it. And I had a day left in Vegas before I could go home. And I'm like, how in the heck am I going to get an Uber? I borrowed $100 from a friend of mine who was there, and it took me, 3-4 months to pay him back $100, Mark. $100. It took me 3 months to pay that back. I'm like, what is going on with my life? Like, 6 months ago, I was this real estate mogul, and now here I am, trying to figure out how I'm going to get home from Las Vegas. And so I totally get that, totally resonate with that. And I think that's really the true barometer of success, in my opinion.
Well, somebody asked me, because I have another friend that I grew up with.
Okay.
And the one thing he said is, when you lose, he said, why is it that my drive to make it the first time was different than I make it the second time? I said, here's why. When you're driven the first time, you're driven by variety, significance, and you really want to grow for those reasons. That's what excites you. It's a different emotion. I said, when you lose everything and you have to make it back, you're driven by certainty, because you have to take care of family and you're not trying to showboat. You only care about security. I said, it feels different. It'll be easier the second time. And then you'll get to a point where once you have enough certainty and you're solid, then variety will kick in and you go, I want to get excited again. So your drive is still there. It's just the feeling is different for the excitement. And that's all it is you have to know what drives you.
I love that. I love that. So actually one of our attendees here said that he was actually hypnotized by you before on stage. That's, oh man, I gotta tell a story about the show that you did when I met you. You probably remember this.
I remember exactly.
One of the guys that was there right afterwards, he's like in his funk still and coming out of this whole haze that you put him in. Incredible show, by the way. and he's reaching over and he's touching his toes, and we're all looking at him. We're like, what are you doing? He's like, I could never touch my toes before in my entire life. And you explain it better than I do, but it was this idea that stress takes up physical space in your body when you're stressed or anxious or this or that. And when you hypnotize him, he had relieved that from himself and was able to touch his toes. Talk to us a little bit about the background of hypnotism. What is it really versus what do people think it is?
People think it's losing control and you're going to obey and do whatever you can do and tell your deepest, darkest secrets and all that. It's not hard to hypnotize people. I'm going to tell you right now, hypnosis is nothing but influence persuasion. When you think about the television programs you're watching, the news and this, that's hypnosis. It's getting you to believe certain things, attaching the emotion to it and getting you to respond about it. The reason why he was able to touch his toes is because when you're totally hypnotized in that state of just like when you're going to sleep, like, oh my God, I'm in this euphoric state. Every bit of stress is out of your body, so you are more relaxed. It's like you hear the drunk person gets in a car, hits a tree, and they don't get as hurt because they're not tensed up. Pain comes from being tensed up, things like that. So when you are totally relaxed, you are actually opening up your subconscious mind, and you could put a program in there at that moment that will get you to make change instantly. See, I don't motivate anybody, Fred. All I get them to do is get them to take action so they get a result that they've always dreamed about and wanted. That's it. Some people use hypnosis. They're hypnotized themselves saying, well, I can't do this. The words they say, how they say them, the things they're looking at, all that is hypnosis, and it goes into their body and into their mind. That's why I said you need to divorce people out of your phone. Get them out. They're hypnotizing you. You're allowing them to hypnotize them, and you're taking into it, And you got to clear your mind. You got to realize, what you focus on, that's going into your mind, and you're hypnotizing yourself for that. But if you take away the word hypnosis, just take it away. Forget about the whole word, because hypnosis is nothing but influence and persuasion. If it's influence and persuasion, and it's a program on our mind, think of a computer, right? It's like a computer. If you have a computer and you're working on your computer, you don't do anything. You're just working on it innocently. Is it possible you could get a program on your computer that will slow it down a little bit? Absolutely. No, you won't even notice it's there at first. Isn't that weird? You didn't even know you got it. You're just going about your business. However, there'll be a tipping point where enough of those negative programs on your computer slow your computer down, or you don't get the results that you want. Oh, so wait a second. If our subconscious mind is basically like the hard drive of a computer, which is an illusion, because we can believe our illusion, they become reality. Is it possible that you could have some programs on your mind that are not getting the results that you want? Just possible. Opening your mind to that says you're opening to change. But when you go, I can't be hypnotized. Yeah, okay, you're the ones that are being hypnotized every single day of your life. See, it's not hard to hypnotize. It's hard to wake you up from the patterns and things you do every day that you don't want to do. Everybody has them. So why not say, if I've got some programs, how do I make some changes? I can't change the event. However, could I change what it meant to me? Could I forget that that's not what happened? That was the event, but what it really meant was something else. See, think of it like this. If life is an illusion and we create our illusions from the events that happen and we put meanings to them, we put the meanings into them and we respond based on those meanings, and it's our mind we're in charge of. I wonder if I decided to give a new meaning. I wonder if that's what I did. What would be the results? And you think about people that are super achievers. Think of Oprah. Like her or not Oprah. She went through a tough time. Would she be the person she is if she didn't go through that? She would not be the person she is if she didn't have a different meaning. Tony Robbins, same thing. So thank God I went through that abusive cult that truly was a horrible thing. It was the greatest gift that ever happened to me. And it's not that I thought what we went through was positive. It's taking the pain, learning the lesson, and saying, how do I serve others so they don't have to go through the same thing? And if you're in pain, it's because you're stuck. And some people, I see this I do a lot of weight seminars, lose weight seminars. Some people don't have a weight problem. They have a storage problem. Now, whether your weight is size physical or emotional or whatever that energy is, you can be thin and have a weight problem because you're storing different things. With hypnosis, it takes it away. The reason why he was able to touch his toes is because there was zero stress. His body and mind were in sync. This was something that you talk about, I have a great faith. I never lost my faith. And I still believe that God gives you reasons and puts doors in front of you to open up. Some are open. You just got to walk through them. I was doing a hypnosis show in San Diego the last time I was live. Never forget this. And got done with the show, and this older couple starts walking up, and one of the security comes up and he goes, Mark. I go, what? You got to talk to this person. I go, what's the matter? She was in your show. I'm thinking, is everything okay? And she came up to me, and her husband was crying. I'm thinking, first thing, oh shit, what do I do now? And they said, my wife was in your show. I go, yeah, is everything okay? Did you enjoy the show? We enjoyed the show, but let me tell you about my wife. My wife has Parkinson's, and she's had tremors for years and years and years. She was in your show. She didn't have tremors. I've never in my life seen her without tremors. Not in her life, but recently. She didn't have tremors. What did you do? Can you help us? Here's what's interesting about that, Fred. My best friend has Parkinson's. My mom has Parkinson's. And a very good friend of mine who is blind also has Parkinson's. And I said before that, I met with my friend that was blind and had Parkinson's. And I said, why don't we put together something that could help people with Parkinson's? And we were like, yeah, we should do this. We should do this. How many people should do something that they don't? Problem is, we should do a lot of things. And then sometimes there are things that don't just nudge you, they whack you upside the head and go, hey, dumbass, quit thinking about doing something and frickin' make it happen. You got all these people in your life. Now I got to go put somebody with Parkinson's on your stage so you get it. And that was a wake-up call for me. And now we're creating an entire program on Parkinson's. I got my chiropractor doctor friend who studied Parkinson's. So all these things are coming out of the woodwork. They've always been there. I just didn't open the door and walk through it. And now we're creating a whole thing on Parkinson's. Thank God. And I still remember their face. I mean, it's just to this day, it's still like, what the frick happened? I don't know. I don't know why it worked. And I don't need to know why it worked. All I need to know is, are they getting results, and is it a benefit, and are people getting help from it? And that's what your life is about. You want to be successful? Freaking make a difference and open your eyes in somebody else's life. You taking the dog out of here? Got a little dog there, a ladybug. Known her whole life. She's 15 years old.
I love it.
Dog.
I love it.
Isn't that interesting, Fred? If you hadn't had that $100, borrow the $100, where would you be? Would you be complacent? And here's the other thing is, how many people would get on a program and say, yeah, this was my life. Freaking down $100. Is that embarrassing? You know what? It's embarrassing. is not telling the truth and lying. Everybody has to be vulnerable.
Mhm.
Everybody, you know, it's like we've all gone through this. That's what makes us stronger. I don't want to be born with a silver spoon in my mouth. Thank God. But you know what? I'm going to have ups and downs, but I know one thing. I'm never going to stop. That train sometimes goes slow and sometimes it goes fast. Be on and hang on. That's what I say.
Exactly.
Never forget where you come from, because those lessons are there to learn and grow and to help somebody else.
I love it. I love it. Mark, this has been an incredible show. It's so weird. I think every show I do gets better than the last one.
It does.
And so I gotta reinvite all my old guests now, so that
I know.
they can be in the better show.
Have you had Frank Sankiewicz yet?
I have not had him yet. He's actually on my list.
Please get him on. I had him on my podcast. Amazing. Were you at Reed's when I hypnotized the actor that played in Wishman?
No, I haven't been to Secret Knock yet.
Okay, please go.
So this year will be my first year, obviously.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I'll probably be there.
Cool.
I'll be there. Yeah, ask Frank. Frank's a great man. Watch the the movie The Wishman. It's a true story.
Oh, I've seen it multiple times. So good.
I love Frank. I called Frank and I go, "Hey Frank, it's Mark Yuzuik, hypnotist. Do you remember?" He goes, "Mark, why would you say that?" Dude, I don't know if you know me. I don't think anybody knows me. I said, "Would you do a podcast?" Because I'd love to. We had Larry Wilcox, from the TV show Chips. When I've
heard of him. I'm not super familiar with him. I'm only 26, Mark.
I just wanted to throw that out there because I knew you never saw the TV show Chips.
Sure.
It was a big show back when we were growing up.
Right.
Yeah, we had the funnest time with him. Oh my God, we couldn't stop laughing. I mean, the thing we would talk about anything crazy, stupid things, just down to earth guys. There's pretty fun. Get Frank on.
Yeah, definitely.
Frank's a good man, and let your viewers watch Wishman first. And I don't care how masculine you think you are. If you don't want somebody to see you cry, you better put a blanket over your head, because it's man. Good God Almighty,
I'm out of tissues now because of that movie.
Yeah, and COVID.
Yeah. That too. Oh man, Mark, this has been incredible. I'm so blessed to have you on here. I definitely want to follow up with you. Like I said, I got something to ask you about Robert Kiyosaki, and I just see us growing as better friends, and hopefully I'll be part of the family one day.
You already are.
Oh, there you go. Cool.
Yes. I'm sitting there like, I actually called you for a second to make sure I lock your phone number in there, because I said, I'm going to make sure I call him when I'm done with this, let's see how we can help each other. I want to make sure I help you promote and all this stuff. So,
yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of ways I see us collaborating, but let's definitely follow up sometime soon, and we'll get this thing going, man. I'd be honored to speak on your stage, by the way.
Done, dude. See how fast you can get booked? Ask and you shall receive.
Boom. Look at that. I love it.
Isn't it funny? If you think of ask, you shall receive, seek, and you shall find, knock, and you shall go to ASK. Ask. Right there. Ask, knock, seek. Right there.
Boom. I love that. I love that so much. So on that note, is there anything you would like to leave our attendees with before we say goodbye?
The whole thing is we've gone through 2020. It's been up and down. It's been politically a mess out there, regardless of what you believe in, who you want to support, who you believe. Never forget, what was sad is that the only way we came together, and nobody cared if you were Democrat, Republican, fat, skinny, Jewish, Muslim, Christian, it doesn't matter. There's one time in history, we put all that aside. And it was when 9/11 happened. Why do we have to wait for that to help our whole people out in this world? And what's going on right now is we're responsible to stop it. And it starts with our mindset saying, you know what? We're here to serve somebody else, not to cut somebody down. And right now there's a lot of negative association out there on television. I don't watch any TV anymore unless it's Ice Road Truckers or Gold Rush or things like that, because I don't want to get tied in emotionally. I can't serve by doing that, by being angry. And the only way to serve is to say, you know what, how can I help somebody else? And not judge them for their beliefs. They're entitled to their beliefs. But what you're not entitled to is to think right and wrong on certain people when they have a certain reason to believe. So respect somebody's belief and learn from them, regardless of what their beliefs are. religious wise or business wise, and help somebody out there grow. And the right door, all the doors have been open. It's the right time for you to walk through those doors. And you know what? Let's make 2021 a better deal for everybody, and serve as many people as we can. You know, that's just the way it is. I don't really care. I don't really care what your beliefs are. I care who you are and how you care about other people. And I can always learn by having a disagreement. I don't have to believe, but I get to learn and I can grow. And that's the only way to grow, is to have differences of opinions without having to cut somebody else down. And divorce the people out of your life that are not serving you.
I love it.
Make room for new ones.
I
just got engaged to Fred. Fred's part of my new life.
Well, slow down a little bit, Mark. My girlfriend's going to watch the recording of this later, so we don't want any feelings mixed.
Ask Obama who his new husband is. You ask him. I said, dude, we're married, dude. I said, you could cheat on me and we're celibate, but we are married. We ain't going nowhere. And ask him. It's hilarious, We'll be on a webinar together. I'm like, hey, honey. He goes, you ain't cheating on me. I said, hey, can't do that. You're my love.
Oh, geez. I actually had him on about a month and a half ago. He was on this show. So it's so cool just reuniting with all these friends that I met last year. But on that note, let's say goodbye to everybody, and you'll definitely be on here again, because I think you were a crowd favorite, Mark.
Well, I am for the last hour. Nobody else was better than me, right? Did I do okay the last hour?
Yeah.
I don't put anybody on better, which is going to be really easy to do. Well, Fred, I appreciate you very much, man. And just keep being you, and let's hook up. Let me help you any way I can, and anyway, I'm going to reach out to you if I need help.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be reaching out to you very soon, man. This has been great,
you, brother.
See
All
you
right.
again.
Stay warm. It's cold out there.
Yeah. Have a good one, everybody.